We're going to move on to some Nvidia talk here for a moment. I'm not going to cover too much of this because it's been talked to death, but in the streaming space, I was very excited. They have RTX Video Super Resolution, which is just AI upscaling for video coming to browsers. Unfortunately, it's only Chrome and Edge at the moment. I would love to see it come to Firefox. I also really want them to get someone to make plugins for media players like VLC and MPV, as well as for video editors like Resolve. I really, really want them to do this. My biggest problem here is that this demo is bullshit. That is not 1080p video upscaled. That's either a much lower resolution video. I'm talking about on the left, not on the right. It's either a much lower resolution, or they just applied a blur filter to it, or deliberately chose the worst possible way to upscale 1080p on purpose, because it's just not what it looks like. As someone who has done many times and regularly recommends for people to upscale their 1080p footage to 4K for YouTube uploads and things like that, it's not what it looks like. So I hate that they're playing this smoke and mirrors game with it, because it's bull. I'd rather them show like it being blocky and it helping with the deblocking, because the real advantage here for this would be Twitch streams. But the feature itself, despite being marketed in a terrible way, is actually really cool and useful. So can't wait for it to roll out. I'm excited for it. I just wish they didn't resort to this to market it. Maybe it's the only way they could illustrate it, because it's harder to illustrate otherwise. But then, be honest, I don't know. They announced a couple other features. They got laptops. Nvidia Canvas, the AI drawing thing, which I still haven't played with a ton, but is really freaking cool. It's one of the more exciting AI things for me. It now goes 360, where you can do full environment maps for 3D scenes. That is insane. So you could do like HDRIs as well as environment maps. That is freaking bonkers. I can't wait to see like Corridor Crew get a hold of it and things like that. And then lastly, they announced the broadcast update that adds the eye contact, as well as a bokeh blur kind of effect to the background blurring, which is kind of cool. Gets them a little more accurate. The eye contact thing, honestly, in this demo, it doesn't look that bad. Like, I think it's interesting that they chose Gerardo, which is a buddy of mine, but they chose him to present this, both because he has glasses. So it's a demo showing that it works with glasses, which is cool. Doing things with glasses on video is very difficult. As even my current lighting just glares off of glasses. So that sucks. But it shows that it works with glasses, but also the glasses magnify the eyes a little bit, which both distorts the, like it would distort this effect if it wasn't done well, and that doesn't really happen here. But it also helps highlight like how fake it is. Like you can see it if you slow it down and look, like punch in and look really, really closely. You can see the eyes wiggle ever so slightly as they try to map to where they're supposed to be. But otherwise, it's very convincing. I think for a lot of use cases, like I think the idea that we need to maintain eye contact and voice calls, especially when we're doing a million other things and whatever, is insane. Like, I don't like that trend. I do like the trend that Nvidia is going with. It's both good and bad, because what Nvidia is, like, what most of this technology is being actually inspired from was during the pandemic, from all the video conferencing needs everyone has. And Nvidia saw this pipeline where they could reduce the need for ice filter. No, what they saw a need for was a pipeline that reduced the data needed to be sent for video conferencing, because everyone was video calling in 2020 and everyone has bad internet, especially in other regions, and they wanted a way to improve that. And so they have this feature. They had another feature they were demoing a year or two ago where it would just like AI interpolate your movement on camera to help with compression, as well as a few others. And all of this is kind of building out a pipeline so that you only send like a little bit of data for your end of the video call, and then it effectively uses, effectively what this is doing is taking in what would be like the motion vectors for DLSS, but from your video, it takes those cues and then recreates that video on the other end for that person without needing to send a full high quality video stream. And that concept is really cool, if not creepy to some. It's really cool. It's just uses outside of video conferencing are harder to sell. I think the eye contact will help for some streamers. I think they will like it. I'm sure it will look super cursed the more you turn your head and like try to break it. But for me, like if I do videos at the computer now, I no longer have my teleprompter set up, and I would love to not, like, it's very hard to go back and forth to not make it obvious that I'm reading. So like it might be useful there. I might try it out. The only problem again comes in, it's in Nvidia broadcast, which means real-time video only. That is the problem with a lot of these features, including their background removal. I need someone to make plugins for DaVinci Resolve and Premiere and stuff where you can do it in post. especially because it has a little more time to think about it. It could do a better job, but it doesn't need to do a better job. I just need to be able to apply it to a video that already exists without playing the video in OBS and re-encoding it, because that's just garbage. Put on eye contact and play. Yeah, exactly. There are going to be a ton of people who just leave this on for their streams, and like they're going to be like forehead down here and their eyes are going to be angled up here, and it's going to look really creepy. And a lot of those people are going to find it really funny and leave it on, but that's obviously not what it's meant for. And then obviously last in Nvidia, the 4070 Ti.